Hey guys, it's today's manga. Here, let me zip up my jacket really quick. So it's actually really cold in my house for some reason. There we go. All right. So we are on the July manga log. This is everything I read in July. Let's get to it. I'm not gonna dilly dally anymore. Actually, it was a pretty good month. The start of the month was actually pretty not good. Like it was like good. I was reading good stuff, but I wasn't reading like anything fantastic. And then I read one volume. Actually, I don't know what was like the first thing I read that was actually like really good. But you know what? Let's just get into it. I'm not gonna dilly dally anymore. I have my notes right here, so I know like what I thought at the time that I read it. So yeah, let's just get to it. We're going to start off with the worst volume I read this month. And it might come to a surprise, it might come to not. The worst volume. Oh, I should probably say, any of the volumes I read, none of them were bad. Except for a couple, but the other volume in the series made up for it. Except for a couple, none of the volumes were just bad. Like, I just disliked it. None of them were like that. But let's start off with the worst volume right now in here. And the worst volume I read this month was Ayashimon Volume 2. Honestly, it was still good. Like, here, what I wrote on my tablet right here, it's like on my tablet, it's in my shelf. I just put, alright, good art, and incredible fight scenes, but it is extremely boring at times. Which, honestly, I agree with. I have the same problems with Hell's Paradise. Hell's Paradise and this series have the exact same problems in my opinion, and it's by the same mangaka. The fight scenes are good, the art is good, but it's just so boring at times. Jesus. But yeah, this was actually this was good. I'm not even gonna like dilly dally too much. I don't want this video to be an hour long. Next, I read a lot. I didn't really read like a long series this month. I just kind of read like individual volumes, so it's gonna get through a lot of different series. Next, we have Mission Yozakura Family Volume 4. I think this series is starting to like show its cracks and its flaws, and that it's like incredibly boring at times. Like it has like, you kind of need to like the main character in order to like this series. And the main character is just so boring. Like he does nothing. He does nothing. Well, actually, he does a lot of things, but it's just like he does nothing, and it's so boring. But there are some good parts in here too. Like with the one guy, the guy with like the mask head, and like he needs to like control his mutation. That was honestly really good. But other than that, it was like fucking terrible. Right, next. We got the one thing that I think is like kind of bad, but it kind of saves up for it because it's one of my favorite series of all time. Oh yeah, I probably should say this too. I'm going from worst to best, so I'm starting with my least favorite stuff I read this month, and then my favorite stuff I read this month. I don't think I said that at the beginning of the video, but if I did, I apologize. Next, we have Volume 47 and Volume 48 of One Piece. This series really hit a low this month. I could barely get through these two volumes. I don't know how I'm gonna get through Volume 49. It's in my room right now. Probably read it after this video actually. It's just so boring. Thriller Bark is so boring. Actually, in the beginning it was very boring, but then when they started going off to like the little subsections and defeating people, like when Usopp fought Perona, and you know, and Sanji fought the lion guy, and Zoro fought Ryuma, or like the ghost of Ryuma or something, the zombie of him. I was like, that's actually really cool. So, yeah, that's really it. No, okay. That's really it. But it was honestly just really cool. Like this the fights and stuff, but like the beginning of it, like when we're getting through like Oris and all this other stuff, it was just boring. I did not care. Yeah, that's volume 47, 48 One Piece. Next, we've got Volume 7 of Record of Ragnarok. I did read this. This is actually in my manga haul, which I actually just filmed yesterday, and I'm filming this today. This is in my manga haul, and I read it. It was honestly just good. It was solid, really, really good. I liked the ending of the battle. Very creepy, very eerie. The art is always just beautiful, like amazing art. I just love the art style, how the faces are have so much expression. It's just so cool. I don't really have a main problem with it. It's just kind of all the other volumes in here did something better for me, in my opinion. But yeah, Record of Ragnarok's always a solid series. Hasn't really been bad moments in Record of Ragnarok that I thought could have been better. But there hasn't really been outstanding, amazing moments in Record of Ragnarok. Yeah. Next, we have another one volume. Again, I've read one volume. I mean, there's some I've read 3 volumes, 4 volumes, but really it's just one. Next, we have Welcome to Demon School, Iruma-kun, Volume 2. It's just again solid series. It's so wholesome. It's just a wholesome series I like to read. That's really it. Ah, shit. Tablet's out of battery. Nah, I'm just kidding. Alright. Yeah, I put in the notes, really good with expressive art and great compelling moments. And I do say that. Great art. I love the expressive art. I love I just love the art style. It's very cool. I like the world. At first it's at least the plot of it seems really boring, but somehow it makes it work. It's just a lot of fun. It's very comforting. Alright, next we got I got 3 volumes here actually. I got volume 1, 2, and 3 of Beastars. Great volume, honestly. It's great series. Honestly, the first volume in the beginning was kind of boring because I didn't really know how this was gonna work. It's just a bunch of small stories, but honestly they worked really, really well. I loved this I love this story. I love all the cover stories too. The cover stories were great. Every single story just had a really nice message at the end of it. It was just good. Just good stories all around. Right? But the stories, it had a little bit of a fallback where the stories are so short you can't really get connected to any of the characters. You don't really care that much by the end of it. I really couldn't tell you any of these characters' names except for Legoshi and Haru. Yeah. And oh my god, the story with Legoshi, what did I write here? I put just great. First volume is a bit boring at the start, but still some good stories. Legoshi is the best. Honestly, I agree with that. When Legoshi and Haru had their little story, it was just so wholesome. And then to see Louis back with Bill, it was just wholesome. It was wholesome. Okay. So yeah, I read these 3 volumes this month. Really good. Just good. Next, we have volumes. I have 5 volumes here. I have volumes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of Orient. Good. It was really, really good. Honestly, in my opinion, if I just read to volume 2, I probably would say it's worse than Beastars and Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun. Then I read volume 3, which is really good. And then we got into the arc with that one guy. He's I found out why I like this series so much, and it's that they make such not compelling villains, but just so scary villains. This guy on the cover, terrifying. How do we beat this guy? It was one of those. It's how do you beat this guy? Yeah, that's really it for Orient. I mean, Orient isn't very interesting series to talk about. It's pretty basic, honestly, but it's still like a fun comfort series, honestly. Most of these volumes I read are fun comfort series, except for when we get to like the later volumes, or at least the volumes in the later half of the video. It's going to be not very comforting. Oh yeah, and also art, amazing. Like art is like always good. All right, next we've got. Oh yes, we've got another series I read 4 volumes of. We have Sakamoto Days, volumes 5, 6, 7, and 8. Honestly, Sakamoto Days got a lot better. Like, volumes 1 through 4 were kind of like a snooze fest. Like, they were good, but they were not like great or anything. And I hear people saying, "Oh, it's the best series like of the new gen," and I'm like, I just can't agree with that. When Mashle, Magic and Muscles is right up there, I just can't agree with that. And then I read volume 5, 5 through 8, and I was like, I can see where you're coming from, because it got a lot better. They introduced like all these new villains, and they're just really cool, and all the character designs are great, and different arcs and stuff, and all the characters just look cool. Like it is just cool. Like, it's just a good series. I love her. I forgot her name. This character, she's pretty cool, and this guy's cool. And I think, oh yeah, and this series is really great at making threatening villains. Like when that guy, like that old guy with the sword came out and just sliced a building in half, I was just like, what the fuck? What the hell? What? How did he do that? And it's just such a like good series. I don't really have any complaints. Alright. Oh, except for the writing. The writing is not good. The writing is pretty awful. And that leaves our halfway point. We're halfway through the video, probably. Maybe through the video, I don't know. But we're halfway through the list. Now, everything above this is above the average of this month. So, everything that I just talked about was below average. Not in, like, terms of scale, like, not, like, 3, 4 out of 10s. But I mean, in terms of the month. Like, just take the month and take its quality. Everything that I read was in the latter half. So, that tells you how good the month was, how bad the month was. Just keep that in mind. Everything now that I'm going to take is above that. Is above average of at least the month. So, next, how many volumes did I read of this? Oh, yeah. I know how many volumes I read of this. Hold on. Ugh. Next, we've got Blue Box volumes 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, good series. Like, this series is like the most wholesome series I've ever read. It's just such a cute series. Like, I can't even express it to you. It's just wholesome. It just makes me feel at place, right? Like, I don't know, man. It's just cool. It's just cool. It's like, it's nice. It's, oh my god. I don't know how to explain it. It's like drinking like hot cocoa, like when it's like -degrees outside, okay? It just like warms your heart, alright? Like, I can't tell you how much I appreciate this series. Like, I was outside reading this series and I was like getting hyped over like a relationship. Like, I'm not a romance guy, but like, I don't know why, but this series has had me like, oh, I loved it, bro. I loved it. I love the main character. I love the love interest. I love every character, bro. Bro, the main character's best friend is like the ultimate wingman, bro. He's gotta be my best friend. Okay, I'll stop. All these volumes are on the ground now, and it's probably not good. Well, these volumes are also on the ground. Okay. Yeah. I said in my notes, I said great romance, great art, and great everything, and I totally agree with that. It's great, a great series. Next, we have volumes 1 through 5 of Go-Go Loser Ranger or Ranger Reject. Volumes 1, 2, 3, 4. And 5. Actually, that doesn't even make sense. I said volumes 1 through 5 of Go-Go Loser Ranger. Volumes 1, 2, 3, 4. That doesn't make any sense. Whatever. But yeah, I read Go-Go Loser Ranger. Honestly, it was kind of boring in the beginning. What did I say? Very good, great premise, but the characters are a little flat. Honestly, I agree with that. Volumes 1 and 2 were a bit boring, honestly, but it really picked up when they started doing the exams and stuff, it picked up. It was really good, where all the characters had to defeat the other characters to get the keys and stuff. I was like, that's cool. Oh yeah, and then the Blue Ranger came out, and his relationship with the other Blue Ranger. I don't know. It was just something about this series I just really, really like. Can't really explain it. And I also just like Power Rangers too. I like the original Power Rangers and stuff. I like that stuff too, and to have like a really cool premise where the bad guys are as the good guys, and kind of like The Boys, but not as good. Yeah. So. But yeah, Go Go Loser Ranger is honestly really good. Just good. I don't know why I had Blue Box under it, but if I could change it now, actually I will change it now. Go Go Loser Ranger under Blue Box, but still above Sakamoto Days. I'll have it there. What did I rate them actually? So I rated Blue Box a 7.75 out of 10, and I rated Go Go Loser Ranger a 7.9 out of 10, which I don't agree with, but whatever. Okay, explain now. Everything above this, 8 out of 10s. Okay. Next, we've got Homunculus Volume 1. This series is weird. It's weird. I really like this series. There was like the part with the Yakuza boss was really cool. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like, it's so eerie and so creepy. I just love it. I love this series. I think it's just because all the characters feel human. There's no character that is just like cartoonishly evil or cartoonishly good. Like, even the main character is kind of like an anti-hero, you know? Where he's like kind of like an asshole. You know, he like eats like the homeless guy's food and then throws it up, and he lies a bunch. And you don't really, but you're still rooting for him in the end because he has good qualities. And it's a really weird story. And yeah, I really just think it's because every single character feels like, even the guy who was like trying to get him into the surgery, I forgot his name, but the blonde guy, where he shaved his head, even he didn't, like, I thought he was gonna be like a cartoonish villain where he was like, oh, you know, and like just leave after he did the procedure, and maybe he does leave after the procedure, but he's actually like a really like nice guy, and we get to know more about him. And him, like, and we get, like, and, like, just subtle, like, clues get to tell you his, like, relationship with his father, and I really appreciate that. They're not telling you, like, oh, I hate my father because he doesn't accept me, but through images and certain things and just you paying attention, you can piece it together yourself, and I really like that. It's something I'm really appreciative with this story. It doesn't give you all the facts, but if you're smart enough, but if you're paying attention enough, you can figure it out on yourself. And I love that about this series. That's really all I have to say about that one. Next one. This thing again. There we go. Next. Yeah, I said very, very good, super eye-opening, and strange. It makes you think. 100% agree with that. Next. Oh. This series. Holy crap. I love this series. I love this series. Oh my god. This is actually one of the best things I've read. Actually, top 5. Technically, top 5. Now, this series is Gambling Apocalypse Kaiji, Volumes 1, 2, 3, and finally, 4. Oh, shoot. So, what about Kaiji do I like? Let me just get the 4th volume out so I have something to hold while I'm talking. So, Kaiji is just, like, amazing. Like, I literally wrote, amazing manga. And literally this happened while I was reading the 1st volume. I said, first manga to make me do push-ups in the middle of it. Such a cool and great fun read. It's literally what I said. And the reason I said that was because, holy shit, this manga is so smart. Like, the main character is such a genius, and the way they, like, okay, so the author, like, creates these games, right, where it seems simple as, you know, you tell them to, the reader, but are actually extremely complex, and it's such a cool, like, like just amazing read. Like if the first manga was, or if the first game was like a mental challenge on your ability to like think, the second game was a mental challenge on your morals. Like it is such a great read, and the message is like amazing, especially in the second game. The message about like helping your fellow man was just like holy. I love this series, bro. I love this read. Definitely like one of my favorites I've read this like ever. Like definitely top 20 manga of all time I've ever read. Honestly, it's going in there. Like it was that good. Like this manga literally made me like there was a part where so when Kaiji's like thinking and he comes up with an idea, he'll do the little shh. So like so everyone quiets down and they're like in like the corners of the corner of the corner. And you like, how is this guy gonna win? How is this guy gonna win? You know, like there's no like it's just like how is he going to win? And then the two characters like freaking out like, oh my god, what do we do? And he's just like, what do we do? Wait, that's it. And he's like, Kaiji, go shh. I'm like, ah! It was so good. It was so good. Oh my god. And then the scene, oh my god. The scene where he freaking like goes, he like beats up like the guy. And he's like, oh yeah, you know, I beat him up so that I could take him because like, you know, they weren't gonna like send him out. If you haven't read the series, this makes no sense to you, but if you have, you know what I'm talking about. When they're doing the auction, and then he fucking like shows his tongue. He has 2 rings in his tongue, and I was just like, oh my god. Like, and then the part where I gotta stop now, or I'm gonna be on this forever. But just listen to me, Kaichi. Freaking amazing. Top 4. We have our 3 final series left. Each 1 volume, by the way. So, however you take that, you take that. Okay. I forgot what the final volume. Oh, I know what the final volume I read was. Okay. Next, we got Blue Loco Volume 7. Yeah, I'm surprised this is up here. I'm gonna be honest. This volume was actually extremely surprising. Again, like this like series, I never thought it would like be like this high. Like with this series, I never thought it would be a 10 out of 10. Just like the final 3 volumes I'm talking about are all 10 out of 10s. I'll just explain that now. But I never thought this would be like a 10. Like I would never like be like this volume is a masterpiece. This series is a masterpiece. And I don't think I'll ever do that with the actual series. Maybe as the series goes on. I don't know where it's headed though. I mean, maybe when like the 2nd selection arc ends and like, unless there's like a 3rd selection arc or the 2nd selection arc is like amazing or the final battle is like amazing, I'll bump it up to a 10. But this series is like, this volume at least was surprisingly emotional, amazing, realistic, like at least like your mindset in sports. I absolutely love this volume. And I love the series too. I mean, that's really it. Like, again, this series just makes me hyped all the time. Like, this is a series where I literally will jump out of my seat out of excitement. Every single time. And I think it's just because the insults, the different characters tell each other is just so, like, good. It's, like, so cheesy, but also it's just so fun. It's just, like, it's a fun time. And it's also one of my favorite manga of all time. Just indefinitely, probably. Maybe, I don't know. It might, like, bump down if, like, Bachira leaves Blue Lock or something. I don't know. Because he is my favorite character. Yeah, that's Blue Lock Volume 7. We're going to go to the second to last volume. And that volume is Goodbye Air. Yeah, I'm surprised it's here, too. This is volume. Like, Tatsuki Fujimoto's a genius. Like, out of all the things he's read, out of the things he's made, this is my favorite by far. Chainsaw Man is probably number 2, but he doesn't even touch how good this was for me. Like, it's like, I don't know. Like, this series gives me Your Lie in April vibes, especially at the end. it gives me Your Lie in April vibes, and that's how like amazing it actually is. Like, oh my god, just looking at it again, makes me emotional. I mean, this didn't hit me as much as Your Lie in April did, but it was still like amazing, like just literal perfection. The start of it is a bit boring. I would say there are parts that are a bit boring, but I don't really care all that much. Like when they're just watching movies, I'm just like, okay, just like I'm not invested in the characters enough to care about these scenes, you know? Like, you can just move on and get to the sad stuff. Like, this is like magnum opus or some shit. I don't even know, man. I don't even know how to talk about this series. It was that good. Like, holy shit. Alright. Final volume that I read. And if it comes to a surprise, it might not come to a surprise. It might. Volume 3 of The Boxer. Holy... Bro. You're not even ready. You're not even ready. This series is so good, bro. I don't even know how to explain it, bro. Okay, first off. The first fight with the guy with, like, the red hair, the red, like, spiky hair, was, like, really good. The setup to the fight is amazing. The way they call each other out is, like, amazing. And then and I'm like, oh, he's actually going to be a challenge this time. And then the fight happens. And he just hits him with, like, look at this shit. Look at that panel. Look! Whole, like, and I just, like, jumped from my seat. Amazing. You know? And then, the part where the coach is screaming at him, because he's, like, trying to, like, run out of the ring. And oh my, it just made me feel so bad. Okay, I probably have, like, a huge bias to the series, because I am a professional boxer. But the author, the artist, I don't even care. Whoever draws this thing makes the punches so impactful. I can, like, feel them in my soul, in my abs. And maybe that's just because I've been punched in the body, in the face before, obviously, with boxing gloves. So, like, I know the feeling, but just the boom and the wind flying out, I'm just like, ugh, like, it hurts me reading it, and I love it. I love it. And also, the boxing in this manga, like, the actual boxing isn't realistic at all. Like, nobody's gonna drop their hands and do fucking this move, you know? Like, no one's ever gonna do that shit, right? But the actual, like, boxing, like getting ready for a fight, you know, going to a gym, doing all this other stuff, sparring, all that is extremely realistic. And I've never seen that in boxing anything. I've never seen it in Rocky, never seen it in, I don't know, any other, like, boxing media. Like, this, like, it touches on some things about boxing that I never thought would ever be talked about. And I love it. I love it. But yeah, that's really it. That's the video. Favorite volume of the month. And I read this yesterday too. So literally yesterday was the peak of the month. I'm filming this on August 1st. Yeah. Really, really good. Honestly, and the main character is starting to get, like, better and better for me. He's not a very good, maybe he's a good written character. I'll have to see when the, you know, more volumes come out. I wonder how many volumes will come out. I don't even know. How many chapters are there? Because this volume goes to chapter 29. So, depending on the amount of chapters, I would have, it might be like 10 volumes. Which would be pretty cool if there's like 300 chapters. I don't know. Or if there's like a 100 or 1,500 chapters. I don't know. Whatever. Oh, wait, that doesn't even make sense. If there's 10 chapters, 10 volumes in this. I did my math wrong. Whatever. That would mean there's 30 volumes if there's 300 chapters. But there's probably 10. If it's 100 chapters, it's 10 volumes. I think you know what I mean. Yeah, that's The Boxer, Volume 3. I can't wait to get Volume 4. Volume 4 is going to be fucking amazing. I already know it. I know the fight between these two is going to be amazing. The fucking French guy and... Bro, this panel right here got me crazy. Look at this fucking 2-page spread. Oh, he just punched his face off. What the fuck? And even like little things that the characters do, I still go crazy about because I know how hard it is to do. Like in real life, you know, like obviously no boxer's actually going to be like this. This is very, very exaggerated boxing. If it's like at worst, very exaggerated, at best, at least at most, like at best, not even real boxing, you know? But even like subtle things like just throwing a jab or like throwing a 2 with a straight or a cross, however you want to call it, or throwing an overhand, like these things, like oh my god, I can like predict these. It's a manga for me. It is a manga for me specifically. It is a manga for me. That is all. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Thank you for coming to see all the manga I read this month. Honestly, pretty good month. Actually, it is technically, on average, been the worst month out of the 3 months I've done this. Technically. On average, it has been the worst one. But that doesn't matter. I'll see you later. Bye.